Welcome back, fourth graders. At the end of chapter 8 of Where the Mountain Met the Moon, Minley, our main character, found a dragon. Just want to activate your schema. We're going to jump in and take off with chapter 9. Okay? Underneath the moon shadows of the trees, Ma stumbled with wariness. Ba did not know how long they had been walking. With every step he peered at the ground, the light flickering as the lantern swayed in his hand. The forest was full of shapes and shadows, and only barely could he see the faint footprints on the ground. It was like searching for a wrinkle in a flower petal. As Ma tripped, he steadied her with his arm. "We should rest," Ba said. Ma shook her head and pulled away angrily. "We must keep going. We have to find Minley." "But you are tired," Ba said, "and I am too. We can rest and afterward we will be able to continue faster." "I'm not tired," Ma said fiercely. Her irritation seemed to give her energy. "If you are tired, you can rest, but I will continue to look for our daughter." "We should stay together," Ba said quietly. "If you wish to stay with me," Ma said, "then you will have to keep going." I don't know about you, but I have some mixed feelings about Ma in this book. I can't quite pinpoint what kind of person I think she is. What do you think? Ba sighed and took out another candle for the lantern. The light from the lamp kept away the forest animals, but it could do nothing for Ma's fury. Her resentment seemed to darken with the fading moon. But as they walked, the morning bloomed into the distance. Its light slowly filtered over Ma and Ba through the veil of tree branches, so he could finally blow out the candle in his lantern. He looked at Ma and could see that her bitterness was only sharper in the softening sky. "If Minley stopped to rest," Ba said, "we may catch up with her soon." "When we find her," Ma said, "she must know that she is never to do this again. Never." "Now, wife," Ba said, "Minley did not leave to cause us harm." "No," Ma said, her words cracking in the air around her. "She left to find a fairy tale, Never-Ending Mountain and the Old Man of the Moon, of all the foolish things." "Stories are not foolish," Ba said again in his quiet way. "Says you," Ma said, "because you are the one who filled her with them, making her believe making her believe she could change our miserable fortune with an impossible story. Ridiculous." "Yes," Ba said sadly. "It is impossible, but it is not ridiculous." Ma opened her mouth again, but stopped, for up ahead there was a noise of breaking branches. It was the sound of someone pushing through the forest. Ma and Ba looked at each other. "Minley!" Ma said. Forgetting their fatigue and frustration, Ma and Ba began to run through the woods. Ma ignored the branches that scratched her, and Ba let his hat fall to the ground as they rushed toward the unseen person. "Minley!" they called. "Minley!" But as they burst upon the figure ahead, they stopped in shock. It was not Minley. Instead, Ma and Ba stared open-mouthed at the goldfish man. Interesting. We'll keep going with chapter 10 since the chapters are so short. Minley gaped at the dragon in front of her. He was brilliant red, the color of a lucky lantern, with emerald green whiskers, horns, and a dull stone-colored ball like the moon on his head. I'm going to pause and I'm going to reread that part. And I want you to see if you can really create that image in your mind. He was brilliant red, the color of a lucky lantern, with emerald green whiskers, horns, and a dull stone-colored ball like the moon on his head. At least what Minley could see of him looked like that, because he was also half covered by ropes of twine that had been tied tightly around him, so he couldn't move, and by the silvery lake of water his tears had formed all around him. Minley had always thought that it would be thrilling but scary to meet a dragon. Her father's stories always made them sound so wise and powerful and grand. But here was a dragon before her, tied up and crying. Minley didn't feel awed by it at all. In fact, she felt rather sorry for it. "Can you help me?" the dragon sniffled. "I am trapped." Minley shook herself and started swimming toward the dragon. "What happened to you?" she asked. "The monkeys tied me up while I was sleeping," the dragon said. "I have been here for days." Minley swam over to the dragon and climbed onto his back to get out of the water. There, she opened her pack, took out the small sharp knife she had brought with her, and started cutting the twine. "Why did the monkeys tie you up?" Minley asked. "Because I wanted to go farther into the forest to the peach grove," the dragon said, "and the monkeys will not let anyone through. I have been trying to make them let me pass peacefully for days, but they are so unreasonable. Finally, I told them that if they did not let me through, I would just force my way. They know I am big and strong enough to go through without their permission. So when I went to sleep, they tied me up." "Why won't the monkeys let anyone pass?" Minley asked. "Because they are greedy things," the dragon said. I'm going to pause there and think about that word greedy. Oftentimes in the classroom, if you are with me, I joke that I'm a greedy teacher because I always want more and more and more. So if you're greedy, you're never really satisfied. You want more and more. They have just discovered the peach trees that make up the next part of the forest. The monkeys do not want to let anyone through because they do not want to share the peaches. Even when I promised not to touch any of the fruit, they would not let me through. They do not even want to share the sight of those peaches. "Why do you have to go through the forest?" Minley asked. "Can't you just fly over?" More tears rolled down the dragon's face. "I cannot fly," he sobbed. "I do not know why. All other dragons can fly, but I cannot. I wish I knew why." "Don't cry," Minley said, patting the dragon, feeling more sorry for it than ever. "I'm going to Never-Ending Mountain to see the old man of the moon and ask him how to change my family's fortune. You can come too and ask him how to fly." "You know where Never-Ending Mountain is?" the dragon asked. "I thought to see the old man of the moon was impossible. You must be very wise to know how to find him." "Not really," Minley said. "I got the directions from a goldfish." We'll stop there. I want to leave you with a question. So Minley just made a proposition to the dragon, saying, "Hey, I'm going if you want to come with me. I'm curious what you predict will happen next." I look forward to seeing you next time.